Khan Kazia is not only one of Kenya's best table tennis players, but also one of the first ever East African ping pong masters. His creative with ping pong shots has gained him a lot of recognition internationally. Our reporter Kelvin Kimathi caught up with him to know more about his journey and the growth of the game in the country.
It's yet another beautiful Monday morning. Welcome to KTN Sports Chat. My name is Kevin Kimathi and today I'm here at the Aga Khan Sports Club where I'll be speaking to one of Kenya's best table tennis player, Khan Kazia, just to understand his journey so far and how has it been. What does it take to make those mind-blowing ping pong trick shots that are always trending online? But first, let's see what he can do. Khan, first of all, thanks for joining us here on KTN Sports Chat. Maybe you can start by telling us how did you start this? Where did all this idea come from?
Well, it started a year ago. We've been shooting trick shots for a year. So I was in a tournament and I met right now he's my best friend, and we shoot trick shots together. His name is Tahir. And so he saw that I do trick shots on my Facebook page just for fun. So he thought that maybe we could make this big, maybe we could be somewhere someday. So we decided to start shooting trick shots together.
What inspired you to start doing trick shots by your own?
Well, before, I just used to look at other people doing trick shots because there are many big pages that do table tennis trick shots. So I decided, yeah, why not recreate their trick shots and just gain a little following on my personal account, till I actually started creating my own unique trick shots.
And for a start, what do you specifically need? You know, for a start, the equipment and all that. Maybe you can tell me what it's cost for a start.
Basically, what we do use are tapes, cups, tiles and slabs, and we need a lot of water in the cups so that the ball can stick when we make those trick shots.
And where do you get your inspiration when you do all these funny stuff, creative stuff? Where do you get your creativity when you're coming up with a new trick shot?
Well, I can't take all the credit to the creativity in these trick shots. Most of them are because of my friend Tahir. And he thinks of these crazy things just in his sleep, I believe, so he's told me. And yeah, basically what we strive for is to do the impossible.
Talking of striving to do the impossible, how has the journey been so far since you started, and where you are right now? You're trending, your clips having a lot of million views.
Yeah, the million views actually started when we got on Sports Center, which is an affiliate of ESPN. So we got on that page and our following boomed, like maybe by 1,000 followers. The aim is basically to get viral, like one video which will just amaze people and like show up on all trick shot pages so that we get more following. Currently we're just at about over 6,000 followers. We started flat zero, of course, like anyone else, and the aim at the end of the year is to at least reach 20,000 followers.
And how much time does it take to make all these some very difficult and tricky trick shots?
It takes extremely long. That also say depending on the trick shot. The longest we've taken is 3 days on one. 3 days, yeah, but not continuously 24 hours, of course, 6 hours each day. And the shortest time we've taken is 2 minutes. Yeah.
And do you do these every day or just depends with your schedule?
With my schedule, I go to university like 5 times a week, so I don't get that much time. I only get the weekends to shoot. And so we only shoot 1 day. We only get 1 day to shoot, and we post like 1 day a week specifically only on Tuesdays.
And when do you get time to practice before shooting, and how do you balance school and also this other one, because this is your passion, you're doing well at it, and here is school?
Yeah, school takes a lot of my time, but seeing as that I take not as much time on the trick shots, I mean, I just need one day to do one trick shot and it's posted on Tuesday, so I can balance that. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, I have to sleep late, wake up early in the morning to get assignments done so that I have time to do these trick shots.
Now, I understand that it takes a lot of money to buy these small things like the bat. Maybe you can tell us how much does the bat cost?
Don't be shocked, but the bat actually costed 40,000 shillings. It's a professional bat used by many professionals all over the world. So yeah, that's the reality. It's that much.
How do you get all this amount of money while you're still in school? Maybe are you getting support from your parents and stuff like that?
Yeah, I do get support from my parents, but also from playing in the national team. I do get support for that as well. Training outside, I've been to Paris for training, I've been to China for training, I've also been to Germany. So we do get sponsored when we go for these international trainings.
I understand you're also one of Kenya's best table tennis players. You've won a lot of tournaments. But aside from table tennis, sticking with trick shots, what are some of the achievements that you've specifically achieved in trick shots alone, not combining with table tennis?
Okay, so I played a lot of national tournaments. I've won a few, many few, like in the past 10 years. But in terms of trick shots, the biggest achievement I would say is when we got on the International Table Tennis Federation page, which is like basically the biggest page anybody who plays table tennis can get on. And nobody from, I would say, from the East or Central Africa has ever gotten on that page, but I got on it just because of trick shots.
So when you do your trick shots, do you do it maybe for the likes? And how was it when your first video got 1 million views? And maybe you can tell me the feeling, and were you expecting it when you're doing the trick shot?
No, actually we just started for fun. We thought we'll just create some crazy stuff. Maybe people will notice, maybe they won't. But when that hit 1 million views, I was just over the moon. Like, it was a crazy feeling.
You're over the moon, and I know getting 1 million likes in Kenya, it's not that easy. Does that give you pressure? Maybe you need to maintain this and make sure that every clip you put out there, it impresses people and gets more likes than even 1 million views.
Yeah, so the idea is just to keep increasing, getting crazier trick shots, getting more unique, more difficulty in the trick shots, so that you don't slip up. You just keep going up. That's the idea.
Have you commercialized it? Does it give you any benefit so far, maybe financially?
At the moment, it does not, unfortunately, but we're trying to go in that direction. We have our YouTube channel. We just started. We want to at least reach 1,000 subscribers so that we can at least start earning a little bit. But for now, I mean, we have our Instagram, we have Twitter, we have Facebook handles, Pong Masters KE, which we post on regularly.
The trick shots, since you started, you've been big in a way. You are the first person that has been big doing trick shots in Kenya. Maybe you can talk of the growth of the game that is doing the trick shots, if there are other people that you've seen inspired by your trick shots in the country.
Yeah, there are a couple of kids I've actually played with, and they train at Oshawa, and they've taken a fascination to my trick shots. They try to recreate the trick shots that I do. Unfortunately, some of them, they fail. They actually tell me it's too hard, I can't do it. Even other clubs, players, when I meet them up in tournaments, they tell me, dude, how did you do that? Is that even possible? So I get stunned every time they tell me such things.
And how hard is it really to get one right? Because I've seen you need to make a lot of trials before you get that one right, a trick shot.
Average, I would say 6 hours. And it's very painful, actually, because you have to keep standing there on your feet, hitting ball after ball. You know, you get fatigued at some point, so you just take time out. Sometimes the battery charge runs out. You have to charge the battery to actually start filming again. So yeah, it takes heart. It takes a lot of work. Even the angles of the camera, so that you can see the shot, has to be strategically put. so that you can see the ball going in. Sometimes it can't even be caught on slow motion because the ball is too quick.
Do you have a team that works on you on all these, or it's just your friend? Because you'll see the videos online and you think maybe he has a big team in terms of camera work, in terms of all the shots, arrangement, venue and all that.
Yeah, it looks like that, but no, it's pretty simple. We just have a DSLR camera, a tripod we bought off Amazon, and my friend Tahir shooting behind the scenes. That's it.
And now I understand your background is specifically from table tennis. Maybe you can talk more of how did you get in table tennis as a game itself?
I got into table tennis at the age of 10, and I've been playing for 10 years. It all started when I was playing football, just here in the same club as I always play table tennis. My friend told me, let's go play table tennis. I went ahead, and the coach saw me. He saw I had potential, and I took it up from there. He believed that I could make it big. So in the first year I played, I actually went for my first international trip to Egypt.
So you ditched football for table tennis?
No, I haven't ditched football. I still play football, not as regular as table tennis. Unfortunately, because of my studies, I don't train table tennis as much as before, but I'd like to get back to training soon.
And getting into table tennis in the country, I mean, it's not one of the prioritized games in the country. Nobody really, it doesn't have a lot of fans, I might say. But how hard was it for you to take it seriously as a game?
It wasn't that hard because I actually gained an interest in it sooner or later. Like I would play every day, Monday to Sunday. Like it was my passion, and my parents said that they'll support me all the way. So I took it very seriously because they're supporting me. I might as well do my best.
And what are some of your achievements in the table tennis as one of Kenya's national table tennis players?
I'm regional champion 5 times in schools, 3 times national champion, 2 times metropolitan, and I'm former number 1 under 18, under 15 and under 12 categories. I'm former number 3 in the men's singles, but right now, as of the previous national trials, I'm ranked number 5 in Kenya.
And internationally, what are some of your recognitions?
So I've been for the World Junior Africa World Championships. I've also been for All Africa Games, which was recently in 2015. And this year I'm aiming to go for the 2019 All Africa Games.
Now, as you go to the 2019 All Africa Games, what maybe is your target going that and looking at the team that you will be traveling with? Do you think that maybe we have hopes for medals?
Hopes for medals, it's a far cry, but yeah, if we get more exposure, international training from international coaches, and increase the level of the game in the country, then yeah, we can hope for medals in international trips.
And what do you think of table tennis growth as a game in the country? Do you feel that maybe it's where it's supposed to be, or maybe we need to take it higher to the next level?
I don't think it is where it's supposed to be, but the association, Kenya Table Tennis Association, is working very hard to make partnerships with outside associations and companies to increase the level of the game, to increase development of the game in other areas of the country, and especially working on junior development.
And in order to become a good table tennis player, what are some of the skills that someone really need to possess in order to be that good?
They need a lot of hard work. They need discipline. First and foremost, discipline is key to any game, as any athlete would say. As well as the physical aspect, you need a lot of physical training for this game. It looks simple. It looks like you stand in one place and just hit a ball, but no. If you look at the international players, they move like crazy fast, and that's what you need. You need physical training. You need a lot of multi-ball training, as we say in the game, and yeah, a lot of commitment.
And looking back at your career, what are some of the recognitions or moments that you feel that maybe now this is one of your greatest moments that you'll never forget?
My best moment, I would say, was when I broke into the senior team. They were only taking one junior player, and for one day, all junior players from all over the country came, and only one was being selected, the number one, and I managed to come out on top.
Now, talking of table tennis again, does disability limit someone when you come to table tennis? What do you need to have physically in order to get it? Do you have to be like really fit to get into table tennis, or just anyone can get into it?
Basically, anyone can get into it. You know, they're very lenient with when it comes to disability, and you find players who are on wheelchairs, who have crutches, who have disformed limbs, who still play table tennis. Especially, you see it in the Paralympics. Unfortunately, in the country, you don't see much of it, but they should be made aware of, so that we can actually find athletes, Paralympic table tennis athletes in the country.
Talking of trick shots, you take a lot of time to practice, you know. I mean, you must need a lot of patience in order to go through all these.
Yeah, I need the patience, but so does my friend. So guys just tell me that, you know, they wonder how does your friend have so much patience to just sit there and wait for you to actually do that trick shot. And I'm like, he's my friend. That's what he's there for, right? So he's always by my side, and I'm grateful for that.
And some of the children out here maybe might fear getting into table tennis or doing some of those tricks, but because they feel that maybe this is not a career that I can feed my family from.
Yeah, it's not a career, honestly. That's why I just do it on the side for fun, but want to take it seriously. Maybe earn money, why not? But I would say that take the game more seriously. Trickshots is just for fun. I do it for fun. Don't think you can make money out of it, but mainly focus on the game. Table tennis is the game, and the love for the sport is there.
I mean, talking of money, don't you feel that maybe if exploited really well, tricks can get you a lot of money online if you commercialize, bearing on the views that you're getting?
Yeah, you could earn money. I mean, look at the one of the biggest trick shot pages I know is Dude Perfect. They're making millions just doing trick shots, and they started from nothing and they've become something. So yeah, it can happen. There's a slight chance of it happening, but it can happen.
That's Anikan Kazia, one of Kenya's best table tennis players. Just talking about table tennis as a game, the growth of the game in the country, and also what does it take to make those ping pong trick shots that has gained him a lot of recognition internationally and a lot of followers online. For now, we go for a short commercial break. When we come back, I will continue with the conversation with him and also one of his friends, actually his best friend Tahir, who got him in this game. Tahir, I understand you're the one who got actually Ali Khan into this game. Maybe you can tell us more on how you got the idea and how you managed to convince him to get in this.
It was actually completely by chance, because what happened was one day I was just bored. I was online on Facebook and I happened to catch one of his old videos, a trick shot that he did. Now, I had only just met him. I didn't really know he does any of this stuff. So, it just occurred to me that I see a lot of international people doing this. I see so many pages, they're able to do such creative shots. And then there's somebody here in Kenya. So I thought, is it possible to get a Kenyan to do this and to compete internationally with others? So one day I suggested the idea to him and he liked it, and that's how we started.
And how hard was it to convince him to get into this?
It was actually quite hard because, like he explained to you, he told me about his schedule as well. So I just managed to tell him that, okay, let's try it small. Let's start, at a small pace. Let's try get one video that's unique, one that you haven't done, and let's post it out and let's see what happens. And surprisingly to that, he said, okay, let's try. And we did our first video. It was actually a challenge that was put out by a table tennis page. And successfully we did it, and from there we just progressed forward.
I understand you're the man in charge of all the online stuff and shooting. How do you go about that? How do you arrange all that and pushing his brand to getting international recognition?
Well, at first it was hard because, you're starting from level base. You know nothing. You're just basically, as far as you know, put the video out there and hope people like it. So, with time it became a bit easier because then I started, researching ways to get your brand out there. What's the basic things you can do as a beginner, for free? What's basic editing? And at first initially it was a bit complicated because, we had to find the right time, when most people are online, when people are doing this and that. So with time, we started learning that, okay, Tuesdays is our good day. We'll post at this time. And then it's just more about your dedication and your consistency. If you can take the time out, just get the video ready, and then it becomes easy from there.
And financially, how much does it cost to start all these? Talking of bats, I understand one bat is like 40 Kenya shillings for 40,000, and also other equipment, camera and all that.
Okay, I'm not going to lie to you and say it's cheap. It's quite expensive. In our case, we were a bit lucky that most of the stuff we had pre-hand. So our cost was not as high as it would be for somebody who has nothing. In terms of general cost, you have to consider all the small things to take into account. The tiles, the tapes, the cups, whatever it is you're bringing forward. The camera especially will cost you a lot, and the bat itself. In our case, we were quite lucky because he's a table tennis player, so he had most of this equipment with him for his practice and for whatnot. So for us, it was not that expensive, but for others, it might be quite expensive.
And since when you started the page, maybe you can tell us how you started the page, when exactly you started the page, and to where it is right now. How do you feel about the growth?
Okay, I'll start with the growth. Okay, considering that you're coming from a country where you've never seen this before, this is something new. It will start slow because people have to enter to the brand. They have to recognize what it is you're doing. So in terms of the growth, I will say it's okay for us in this particular situation. We started a year ago, December 26th, if I'm not mistaken. That's when we put our first video out. It was one of his old videos just to get the page started. So that was when we started. And from there, we've come a long way. We've gotten recognized slowly. Nobody really wants to know what it is you're doing if you're not popular, so to say. But as time has grown, we've gotten recognized by like the International Table Tennis Federation page. We've been recognized by Sports Center, that's ESPN. We've been recognized by World Star Hip Hop. So growth is.
What was some of your biggest achievements that you feel that when you are featured in that specific page that maybe now, I think we're doing something, I think we made it?
Okay, that I would say would come with our very first, we call it regram, where they take our video and they put it on their page with credit to us. So I'd say our very first big one was when we got on Whistle Sports. Now, at that time, we were not called Pong Masters. We had a separate name. The name was very hard. So unfortunately, we were not credited. They took our video, they put it there, but they tagged the wrong person. So we didn't get the growth that we wished for. Luckily, they corrected it, but just the fact that, they're willing to look at us, they're willing to say that these guys are able to do something to get on our page. And that's not easy to do. So that was when we decided, okay, let's try and take this more seriously.
And I understand you have a big feedback. Do you feel that maybe you get a lot of feedback from Kenyans, or your feedback mostly is from international fans? And how do you feel about Kenyans fans supporting you guys?
When we started, majority of our followers were Kenyan. Sadly, that has now dropped to about 8% because most of the pages we get featured on are abroad pages. So we tend to get followers from the UK, from the US, from India, wherever it is. With our Kenyan support, we have it. It's mostly our friends and a few others. We want to grow the Kenyan support because we are finally Kenyan. We want our home support. But sadly, this is not something that's seen in Kenya. This is not something that's done in, let's say, East Africa. So it will take time, but we just need to slowly get people to join us, that hey, we've got Kenyans doing this, we can support them. That's our goal.
And what do you think that maybe you have to do more in order to get more Kenyan fans and also the game to become more popular in the country and to have so many other guys, table tennis players participating in this, doing all these fine trick shots?
Okay, well, being very honest, if somebody else started Trickshots, indirectly they become competition with us. But of course, we welcome competition. We can't always be the ones that, are there. To get more Kenyans, we try to, post ourselves to local pages. We try to get like certain local pages, like even local brands, like local shops that have online pages. We try and get our videos there. They're not always that impressed because even they're not fully aware of what we're doing exactly. But I think for now that's one of our best ways to get the local following, because most of the channels that do recognize us are out of Kenya.
I mean, sitting here watching him do all this, it takes a lot of patience because again, it takes a lot of time to get that one trick shot right. Where do you get all these?
I would say it's years and years of practice. That's the best I can say, because I was always told that patience is a virtue. Certain trick shots I get involved in, so I'm also standing there getting tired as well. But the ones that I'm doing just mostly the background, I mostly know that I know he's gonna get it. That's my main focus. He will get it. He just needs a bit of support to get it. So it's more or less about just believing that with patience comes the benefit, and so far it's paid off.
Looking at him and other trick shot, other players that make trick shots worldwide, international, do you think that maybe he stands a chance to be one of the world's best trick shots makers?
For ping pong, definitely. I would say definitely, because it's a bit unfortunate that we don't have exactly the following we would like, but from the shots we have done, some of these things are almost impossible. If you told another trick shot person today, go ahead and do this, we can guarantee you it's going to take them more than 4 days. And, as much as it does take us a bit of time to do it, we do it. So I do believe that he could be one for ping pong.
Do you do it yourself? Can you do even one trick?
It depends on the trick, but I think we're going south from here.
Alikan, what's your favorite trick shot? In all the trick shots that you've made, which one is your favorite?
My favorite one is the most recent one we did. We had 2 tapes stagnant, 2 tapes rolling at the same time, and I get the ball through all those tapes while they're rolling and into a target cup. That's my most favorite.
I understand there's another part of that same trick shots. How does it work, and what does it take to do both of them?
This was the second part that I just explained. The first part was 2 stagnant, 1 rolling. So we leveled it up and put 2 rolling and 2 stagnant as it was before. So that just makes it harder to get the ball through. Also, Tyre has to be he has to get the timing right on those rolling tapes in order for that ball to go through all.
Now, going forward, what would you say to some of the people that think that maybe you're wasting your time, you should be doing something much better than this, that table tennis doesn't pay anymore?
Yeah, I've been told by my own national team players or by national players that this is a waste of time. What are you doing? But at the same time, I'm like, I'm doing this for fun. It's my choice. It's not your choice, right? So let me do what I want. Yeah, don't judge me. Like, seriously, come on. But yeah, I just want to do it for fun. I want to get out there and I want to do the impossible, as I've said before.
I understand you're a psychology student. Does that maybe help when it comes to concentration and all that? Maybe is there any relation to doing all those trick shots and psychology?
So the trick shots and psychology, no, there's not much related there. But with table tennis, yes, any sport is related to psychology, as we've said. A lot of athletes that what makes them champions from the rest, there's a lot of psychological training they undergo, a lot of therapy they go through. That's why a sports psychologist is very important to many teams, and my aspiration is to become a sports psychologist to help athletes in the country in the near future.
There aren't many really sports psychologists in the country. A lot of teams are struggling. They don't have even, leave alone psychologists, doctors in the field. What do you think that as a field, specifically field of study, and do you think that maybe we need to do more on that when it comes to sport development?
Yeah, I think what Kenya needs to do is develop an entire team, an entire support team that can help teams in Kenya progress. This is what will improve performances abroad. internationally. That's why you see a country like the United States performing the best across almost all sporting disciplines.
Someone who is listening to you right now, watching you, but they can't really relate how psychology helps in sports. Maybe you can give us an example of maybe how it helps in table tennis or any other game. How does psychology help in all that?
Well, as we know, psychology is the study of human behavior and the mental processes. So if you were to look at football, if you looked at Leicester City winning the Premier League, what were the odds? 5,000 to 1, yes? So 5,000 to 1. Why did they win? The reason was the sports psychologist. He gave players that have not achieved anything in their life, who have come from nothing, from zero. Look at the example of Jamie Vardy. He came from non-league football to play in the Premier League and win with Leicester City. Why? Because he gained confidence, because he gained belief. Because of a sports psychologist, they go through psychological training, of course, to build their confidence, to build that fight that made them win the Premier League.
And I understand you also play football. Maybe locally, which is your favorite Kenya Premier League team locally? And don't tell me Gor Mahia.
A fact which not many people know, I'm from Kisumu, so I'm a little bit of a Jaluo, but yeah, Gor Mahia is my favorite local team. If I were to talk about Premier League team, I would say Chelsea.
That's one of Kenya's best table tennis players and also the only Kenyan ping pong trick shot maker in the country. Talking about his journey and also how psychology helps in sports and also the need of sports development in the country, giving an example of how psychology helps players when it comes to mental strength that is needed if they have to perform really well in their specific sports. That's all we had for you today on KTN Sports Chat. Join me next time. My name is Kevin Kimathi.
That's some pretty amazing stuff. I don't know if he does that for a profession, but I think he could even literally just make money out of just those tricks.
I was looking how he does that whole backflip and the ball passes through. Oh, wow.
I mean, and then he's using, just your ordinary everyday stuff like, gaffer tape to roll and get the ball through. I mean,
but would you do that? What our reporter has done?
Well, the good thing is that with a table tennis ball, it's very light, so even if it flicks your eye or nose, you should be okay. I'd not do that with a golf ball, though.
All right, so this morning we were asking you, are you satisfied with the way the government is handling security issues? Michael, can we read one or two before we leave?
Yeah, sure. You can start off with...
Abdal. Abdal, you say, you cannot inspire the spirit of patriotism in a corrupt and tribal society. Kenya must deal with the two before it fixes security system.
John says that from a rescue squad like the way America has Delta Force, Navy SEAL, Greenbelt, and Kenya should build one like that.
Okay, and a lot more of your feedback has been coming through, but that is where we will leave the conversation. Thank you so much for your time. Let's do this again tomorrow. Same time, same place. My name is Nziki Biko.
My name is Michael Gitonga, and I take this opportunity to wish you a fantastic and a great week ahead. Keep safe, take care of yourselves and each other.